What is up, ladies and gentlemen? But most of all, you ladies out there, thanks for clicking on another episode of Break the Silence. I am your host, Cyborg. Is Draymond Green the new Mike Tyson? Let's talk about it. Split out! We are less than 2 weeks away from NBA basketball, and I could not be more excited. And ladies, remember that if you're going to slide in my DMs, you have a week and a half to do that because they're closed for the 8 months after that. We're all focused on NBA basketball, and I can't wait to talk about it today. We got a pretty big topic, in my opinion, out of the Golden State Warriors. It was reported that Draymond Green forcibly struck Jordan Poole above the neck. I think it's pretty safe to assume he punched him in the face. Now, Jordan Poole reportedly is not hurt, but I think the reason that this topic is interesting to me is because I want to look at the Warriors this upcoming season, but also talk about how impressive it is that they've been able to sustain this greatness for so long. Because when you look at examples of the past, that's what's so difficult about sports and having success, is that it also oftentimes can create some tension between players. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to break it all down in this video. First, please take a second to like and subscribe to the channel. You see, we are on the road to 500 subscribers. Would love to hit that before the season starts. If not, maybe the first week into the season. So please take a second to like and subscribe to the channel. So let's talk about this. Jordan Poole, someone who is on the precipice, the cusp of signing a new contract. It is reported that he's pretty close to signing one with the Warriors. And Draymond Green is also someone who's up for a new contract, I believe, after this season. And there's been reports you've heard over the offseason that Draymond Green thinks he's worth a max contract and would be willing to leave the Warriors for a max contract. Now, when you're hearing a lot of these reports, you got to remember they're being released by one side. There's a purpose for that. So that could be released by Draymond Green's camp, just trying to get the Warriors to raise their price a little bit. So take that for what it's worth. But the Jordan Poole contract is potentially in the works, especially after we saw the big Tyler Hero contract that he just signed. I forget what it was, 4-year, 130, I believe. So Jordan Poole in his mind is like, hey, that's my number. That's where I want to get to. I want to get to about 4-year, $130 million. So I think that this is important when you're talking about this, because Draymond Green is someone who feels that he's been such an integral part of this Warriors dynasty, this Warriors system. And now he's starting to see guys, obviously Steph and Klay got their bag, but then when you're looking at Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins, you're starting to see guys that are also getting the bag and he's not getting his. Is that the reason that this escalated the other day? I'm not sure, but it is reported that there has been some tension between Jordan Poole and Draymond Green. And I think oftentimes money is a big reason for tension in the workplace. When you think about any business, any organization, that's why when you get employed for a lot of jobs, they tell you not to discuss your contract, your pay with other employees, because it can create a lot of tension between you and your fellow coworker. In the NBA, contracts are obviously reported and they're public knowledge. So when you're looking at that, you can't help but know the contract of your coworker there in the NBA. So potentially could be a reason for some of that tension. Now, obviously, what do we know about Draymond Green? He's someone who plays right on the edge of too far that sometimes can cost the Warriors, but also so valuable if he can stay on the right side of that ledge. When you think about it, that one final series where he got ejected for kicking LeBron in the groin, obviously went a little too far over the line. And then when you look at his comments with Kevin Durant and that whole conflict there, Kevin Durant openly admitted that that was part of the reason that he left Golden State. So when you're talking about Draymond, there is clearly times that he goes a little too far. In this scenario, I think Draymond's getting a touch too much hate when I'm listening to the media and I'm looking at social media here. Draymond Green is someone who plays with such passion and such energy. I never think that it's okay to punch a teammate necessarily, but what I do think is that Draymond Green has been a little undervalued, and he was so heavily criticized in the playoffs last year that he's definitely feeling a little bit of that, the undervalue, and wants to remind people of who he is. And if Jordan Poole is talking about his money and talking about, there's a bunch of memes about Jordan Poole and all the baddies that sit courtside waiting for Jordan Poole. But Draymond Green is right there. He's always right on the line. When we're talking about the Warriors, though, this is what's so impressive to me. When you're talking about sustained success in the NBA is so difficult for so many reasons. And I just talked about the contractual issues. Obviously, it's a big deal. Injuries, huge deal. You get just beef between star players and coaches, players and ownership, general management. We've seen it over time. Obviously, the Warriors and Kevin Durant, they were great for a short period of time and then kind of had to go their separate ways. When you're looking at even LeBron, he made 8 finals in a row. So obviously that's incredible. But when you look at that last year with the Heat, you start to see the other players break down, and he had to go somewhere else, kind of get some decent players around him. Jordan retired in the middle of his, and, they kind of added new players in the second half. Obviously, the Shaq and Kobe one, those two had to split up after. And then we did see Isaiah Thomas punched Bill Lambier, if anyone remembers that, I believe in the 80s. But when you're looking at this, sustained greatness is so difficult in the NBA because of injury factors, because of contractual issues. Even when you're looking at Jordan, and almost all of us watched The Last Dance because that was one of the best documentaries ever, but the management said, we're not going to rehire the coach. And that broke up the Chicago Bulls team. And again, that's just someone wanting more credit than maybe they deserved. And I forget the name of the general manager. I wish I could remember. But he wanted more credit that he felt like Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, all those guys were getting. And that's a lot of the times why we see these teams break up. So that's why it's all the more impressive that the Warriors have been so good for so long. That we've never seen Klay Thompson say, Steph Curry's getting too much shine. I'm not getting the credit I deserve. And Steve Kerr say, Steph Curry's getting too much credit. Anything like that, we've never seen that. And I think that's a testament to your star players, because the only time that works is when your star players are Tim Duncan or Tom Brady or Steph Curry. You're talking about high character guys, talking about guys who want to win more than anything. And obviously their skill sets are your best chance to win, but they're willing to do whatever it takes for the team. And that's what we've seen from Steph Curry. That's what we've seen from Tom Brady, Tim Duncan. So to me, I think that this really just reminds me of how great the Warriors dynasty run has been. Now let's talk about the Warriors heading into this upcoming season, because that's something we need to talk about. The Western Conference is theoretically healthy again. Now, obviously injuries happen, and one or two star teams will fall because their stars were injured. But coming into the season, Kawhi and Paul George are back from the Clippers. Zion is back with the Pelicans. The Nuggets with Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. coming back. And then obviously Anthony Davis for the Lakers to a little lesser degree, because I don't think they're going to be great. But the West is going to be a dogfight. To me, regardless of this incident between Jordan Poole and Draymond Green, I still see the Warriors as the favorite in the West. When you're talking about, and when I say favorite, that doesn't necessarily mean who I'm going to pick. And like I've hinted at, I will release my official picks probably the day before the season starts. But I think when you're talking about favorites, it's like betting favorites or who is most likely to win the Western Conference. You got to say the Warriors maybe in the entire NBA. But things like this can be a bit of a concern. You just hope that Draymond Green and Jordan Poole are able to sit down as men. And that's something that Draymond's been able to do. You see, even after his problems with LeBron, him and LeBron are now business partners. And Draymond and KD have sat down and talked and had conversations. And Draymond Green reportedly apologized after this Jordan Poole incident. So when you're talking about Draymond, he is someone who lets his emotions get the best of him at times. But also he's man enough to say, you know what, that was on me. I took that too far. Let's talk about it. Let's see what we can do here. So I think the Warriors are going to be fine, but I wanted to talk about a couple different things. Oh, and also as far as suspension, I don't think he'll be suspended because opening night is ring night, and that would be ridiculous to suspend him opening night. Now, when you watch this video, the results of his punishment might have already been released. So if he's suspended, I might look stupid here. But to me, I would bet that they probably just fine him. And I kind of would doubt that they suspend him opening night. Unless they can do some sort of suspension that starts game 2. But I've never heard of that. But anyways, appreciate y'all watching. Take a second to like and subscribe to the channel. We're grinded. Cyborg out.